welcome back to the channel. So today what we're going to film is my e.l.f. fails or disappointing e.l.f. products. There's quite a few. Some of them are just a color issue, so it's not the product in general. I do have other ones in multiple colors, as I'll get into. But just know that if these items work for you, great. They just did not meet the bar or make the cut for me. So let's go ahead and get into it. The first item that I want to talk about is probably no surprise if you've heard or watched my favorite e.l.f. products, is some of these jumbo eye crayons. Now, I do have two that I really like in Rockout and Turkish Coffee, but the two that I don't like, that did not work for me, that I think are just color issues, formula issues, is this blue one in Like a Boss. I'll swatch it for you guys there. It just, I don't know, it just looks like hollow. It's a little see-through. It's like a greasy crayon. I don't really foresee me using that at all on its own or underneath something. It's just not a very good color. The other one is their Midnight Rendezvous or something like that. Again, it's supposed to be like a black, but it's got a little bit of like a silver glitter in it. So it just looks, again, just sort of hollow, not very opaque, and these in general are a little bit greasy formula. That in combination with these colors, these ones are a fail for me. Going along with that, I have two of their waterproof shadow liners. I believe I got these in like kits, so I didn't actually, like think about purchasing them. The one that's a fail for me, again, is in the blue color. I'll swatch it below the other blue one. It's right here. It's not really bold enough for me. It's got a little bit metallic in it, but it's kind of sticky at the same time. And again, it's just lacking that full opaqueness that I would think I would get from a crayon, like you would from NYX. I do have this other one in lilac. I'll swatch that. This one's okay. I really haven't used it as much, but I think it's just because it's a lighter color that it's okay. But again, it has a little bit of metallic in it, and it's not quite as sticky as the other one. So again, I think it's just a color / formula issue with some of them. So those are a fail for me as well. The next item that I'm going to talk about is this e.l.f. Cover Everything Concealer. I don't know if you guys had tried anything out of this line as far as the makeup products, the essentials line. Some of the stuff is okay, some of it is not. This concealer, I mean, I don't know if you can tell in the pan, it's just so sticky, so thick. I just don't see how you could use that at all. I'm going to just try and do a close-up on the pan so that you can see just how thick this is. So you can see on the close-up, it's just kind of clumpy and glumpy. It's very sticky. I just didn't like it whatsoever. Like if you were going to use this under your eye, you'd have just crepey, dry, old, wrinkly looking eyes. So maybe if you were trying to conceal something else on your face, but even that, it's just kind of it's not super greasy, but it is on the heavy side for a concealer. So for that reason, it's a no-go for me. The next item I'm going to talk about is a Smudge Pot. Now, everybody raves about these Smudge Pots, and I love them too. I have several colors that I absolutely love. This particular color, I do not. It just has sort of a chunky glitter in it, which is an absolute fail for me. It's in the color Ain't That Sweet. I recently got it, but like even on my hand, it is settling into just the pores and things like that on my hand. And it does the exact same thing on my eyes. It settles in, it wrinkles, it creases. It's just not opaque enough either. For me, this color is a fail. I just don't care for it. It's just too light. It's like a whisper of a color. That's not for me. So I do not care for this particular Smudge Pot. Kind of sticking with eye products, I have a few of these long-lasting Lustrous eyeshadows, and a lot of the colors I absolutely love. This one, again, is just a formula / color issue for me. This one is in the little stickers off of it, but if I can find it, I will put the name here. It's like a pinkish color, and it's got just a lot of glitter chunkies in it. So I think for me it's a combination of the color, because normally I don't particularly care for pinks, and the fact that this just has chunky glitter in it. By the end of the day, I do start to notice a little bit of fallout with this particular color, and it just doesn't look all that flattering on my eyes. So for that reason, that particular shade is a fail for me, but I do have several others in this line that I think are good. Okay, so the next item I'm going to talk about is their cream eyeliner. The color that I am going to talk about is Teal Tease. This color, again, it's just a formula issue. For one, I do have, I would say, quite a bit of yellow in my skin, so whenever I use this, I feel like it goes green. It turns into like an aqua green instead of like this bright teal. It's a little bit see-through again, so if you're going to use this as a liner, you want it to be super opaque. You're not going to want to go over your liner several times to make a good line. That's just bad business, man. That's just asking for trouble. That's asking for a thick-ass wing that you didn't want. So for that reason, again, this one is a no-go for me. I was really hopeful to use it for like a pop-up color or something like that. But again, it just turns that greenish color, I feel like, after I wear it a while, and it's kind of see-through. So I think if it was more opaque, I wouldn't have that sort of color change issue with the product. But I do love this in the black color, and I have it in a olive color, and those two are very good. So the next one I'm going to talk about is this out of their Essentials line. This little quad is called Happy Hour. I had high hopes for this, I really did. This purple in here really intrigued me. I don't know, for whatever reason, it just really drew me in. But the colors all in here are so-so. You know, like most palettes, the shimmery brown ones perform decent, but to get the palette just for those colors that work okay, I would say pass. This one is really a big fail for me. This color you cannot get to look like this. Like, I really wanted it to be this on the eye, and it's totally not. It does not swatch very well either, so I'm not going to show you that. And this color as well is just not a good color at all. Either it doesn't look like this, it's very, you know, see-through, and just hardly any pigmentation on that. So I have heard good things about a few of the other ones, like their brown ones that they have, but again, you know, you have browns in just about every palette, so I would say pass on this. Sticking with an eyeshadow palette, I got this one from Walgreens. It was out of like their Good vs. Evil collection that they did with Disney. This, again, is just lacking pigmentation. Like, this black is sort of like a washed out grayish color. You know, these three colors here perform okay, but are they anything special? No. This little silvery guy ends up just being like little flecks of glitter on your face, and this purple does not turn out this purple in the pan. So as far as e.l.f. shadows, this is just not the same formula as a lot of their other palettes that they have out there. So this one is an epic fail for me as well. I just did not end up using this pretty much at all. I tried to make one eye look out of it, and to be honest, I have so many eyeshadows that to work that hard to use these, it's just not worth my time. So that is a no-go. Another eyeshadow palette that I just did not care for was the Baked Eyeshadow Palette. This one is in Seattle. I will pop up a picture. I swatched all of them out on my hand. That swatch that you're going to see, it is using my Makeup Forever setting spray, getting them super, super wet, and swiping several times. So all of the colors, as you can see, are a little bit see-through. Again, they're not giving you that punch that you get from any of the other baked shadows from e.l.f. So for me, that's why this is a fail. Now, this is the only one I have. Maybe some of their other ones are better. I don't know. This color I was really intrigued by. That one actually does do pretty well. It is usable. Same with this purple one next to it. These two kind of look the same after they swatch out, and you'll see that. And then these ones are okay, but they're not, again, anything special. They're a little bit see-through. They give just like a wash of metallic over the lid. They don't give you that super opaque on the lid like you would get from like a ColourPop shadow. And then like these three here just did absolutely nothing. They were too light, too see-through, not opaque. So I just didn't care for this at all. And most of these items I think I'm mentioning I will be decluttering eventually. So these were a no-go. The next eyeshadow palette that I'm going to talk about is just a color selection fail for me. It is not a formula fail. Part of the problem that I have when I look for makeup is I'm super drawn to all the bold, bright, beautiful colors, but they're not absolutely wearable for me for every day. So I did pick up this Sunset Shadow Palette. I know everyone on YouTube raves about it, and it's, like I said, it's not a formula problem. It is just a color option problem for me. The only three colors in here that I could even see myself using would be this one, and this one. I do not care for this gold. It is just way too gold, way too warm for me. This one is too pink. It's, I don't know, it just makes me look tired. And then this white one ends up being a little bit chunky, just as far as it being white and being that metallic. So for me, that's why this one is a fail, just because I don't like the shades that much. But again, I do use the three that I had mentioned. It's just half of the palette I'm not going to use. So I do have other ones of these, and again, I like them. Don't have to say it every time. You know, I do like e.l.f. It's just these products are not working for me. I just have one brush that I would say is a fail for me from e.l.f. I didn't really understand it. I did use it for a while to kind of try and blend out my under eye concealer, but it's not a very soft brush. It's very stiff. It is their pointed foundation brush. I'm not sure if they even sell it anymore, but I would definitely pass on this one. I just don't see anyone really putting their foundation on with this, unless you're using it just to get it out of the jar, put it on your face, and then you use a buffing brush to put it on. But that's just going to dirty two brushes for no reason. So for me, this one is probably one that I will declutter because I do not use it. Speaking of brushes, one of the fails for me, and I'm not sure if they've reformulated this, is their Daily Brush Cleanser. When I first got it, I thought, oh man, this is pretty nice, you know, and you just spritz it on and it kind of helps you get some of the color off, but it doesn't deep clean anything. So for me, it's kind of a waste of time. It's a waste of fluid. I could do just as good a job, I think, with water. I'm sure this has some conditioning properties in it for your brushes, but it just doesn't do a good enough job to use it and take the time to actually use this product. So for me, it's a fail. This one's pretty much gone, so I will not repurchase it. The other item that I'm going to say is a fail, and I know in previous videos I said that it's pretty good, but because I've used other makeup setting sprays, I'm going to say that this one is not so great. I don't really notice that it makes my makeup last any longer. It does help kind of cut down that powdery look if you've put too much powder on, but I know they have reformulated it, so I may try some of their newer sprays and see how they compare to this one. But for me, I don't reach for it. I have other makeup setting sprays that I feel like do a better job. For lip products, really, from e.l.f., I don't have any fails as far as their glosses or their lipsticks, things like that, but this conditioning balm, I just didn't understand. They have these little pots from the Essential line, and I think it's their tinted balms. Those ones feel much better on the lips. This one just feels like a dry moisture, almost like it's got too much oil in it or something. So I don't feel like it saturates, soaks into the dry spots on my lips and softens them at all. So for me, this is a fail. Plus the packaging is so bulky. Like, who would want to toss this in their purse? Like, well, let me just toss my lip balm in there. That's bigger than, you know, a compact. It's just not practical, so I just don't like this. For packaging and for formula, I don't like it. Now for mascaras, I have two that you've probably already heard me talk about in my one brand tutorial that I did, the last one. It's the Exact Lash Mascara and the Lengthening and Defining Mascara. Now the Lengthening and Defining one was out of that Good vs. Evil kit. I don't know if it's just dried out and that's why it doesn't work. But the spoolie on here is basically like a spoolie that you would use to brush your brows. It looks exactly the same as that. It does absolutely nothing. It's just dry and clumpy, and I will definitely be decluttering this guy and this guy. This Exact Lash Mascara, again, the spoolie basically looks like a itty bitty eyebrow spoolie, and it does absolutely nothing. It doesn't coat the lashes whatsoever. Yeah. It's a no. Next up is this e.l.f. Eye Widener in Pearl White. This is out of their Essentials line. Comes with a little sharpener on the top for the pencil as well. But this, even as I swatch it on my hand, it feels dry, it's tugging, it's not really opaque. So I bought this thinking that I would be able to use it in the waterline. Like, this was the first white pencil I purchased from any brand, and it's not good. You can't get it to go into your waterline. It's got a little bit of a metallic to it, I guess, you know, hence the name Pearl White, but it's just not very good. I just don't care for it. So this one is a no-go. Doesn't want to come off my hand. Okay, next up on the list is their Eyebrow Treat and Tame. Now, I did use this for a long time, but that was before I tried any other eyebrow setting products. I just don't really understand the treat part of this, and on their website it doesn't really do a good job of explaining what you would be using it for, and I just think e.l.f. needs to step up their game a little bit. The wand on here is pretty big, so you end up getting it outside of your brows, and this is pretty pigmented, so then you end up with a little bit of a mess. But it is usable. It's just not my favorite. I don't think it's a high quality product. Maybe if they changed the wand, I would be more apt, you know, to use it and not include this treat side, because that just goes to waste for me. So yeah. Next one is the Contouring Blush and Bronzing Powder. This one is just a color fail for me. I do have several other ones of these from e.l.f. Now on camera, this is not coming off as bright as it is, but you see how light I am. Like, I am never going to be that tan to use this bronzer on my skin. Like, no, who is that? I mean, that's not me. That's, you know, definitely a deeper skin tone. So unfortunately on the website I couldn't tell that it was that pigmented, and that's great that they do have options, but this is never going to work for me. I mean, that's even blended out a little bit, and they're dark for me. So yeah, and I don't really care for bright pink blushes, so this is just a color fail for me. So next up I have to talk about is these blush palettes by e.l.f. Now, everyone on YouTube talks about them and they're so great, and yeah, they're pretty pigmented, but I just don't really like that in a blush. I don't know why I decided to get the deep one as well, and this is the one that I would say is an absolute fail for me. I'm never going to be able to use any of these colors. They go on my skin and it's like, whoa, what were you thinking, girl? It's just... no, none of those are going to work for me. You know, I'm pale 24/7, 365 days a year. Like, I do not really get a tan. Even when I sit out in the sun, I use sunblock. So these are not going to work for me. They're never going to... I don't even want to be that careful to attempt to use them. There's other colors that are better suited for me, and I don't have to work so hard to use them. So these are a no, an absolute no, and I will definitely be decluttering those. I do have the light one as well. Now, the colors in the light, on camera, again, they look a little bit softer than they are in real life. They are still very pigmented. I'm sure you've seen plenty of swatches on them, you know, on YouTube as well, but they're just not a good color selection for me. Like, this one could almost be, if you wanted to tan yourself orange, could be a bronzer. That's how pigmented it is. It's just not... they're just not good. And like, this one has little flecks of gold in there, but for why? They're not going to show up on your skin. So that, it's just a no-go. They're too pigmented. They're just not going to work for me. I don't want to have to be that careful. So no, 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 no. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what some of your e.l.f. fails are. I do apologize if any of these items were your favorite and, you know, like they're ride or die for you, but they just didn't work for me. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video anyway. Thanks again for joining, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.